Subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, and join our Facebook community for epic weekly giveaways. What's up, Airsofters? This, or these, I suppose you could say, are the Accuracy International Mk13 MOD7 Airsoft Sniper Rifles. They're big, they're modern, they've got rails, and a folding stock. But is it right for you? Watch this video and we'll tell you everything you need to know before pulling the trigger on these incredible replicas. For those that don't know, Accuracy International is a British firearms manufacturer that has been on the cutting edge of sniper rifle systems since 1978. Many of you are probably familiar with their renowned Arctic warfare rifles, which came in a huge variety of styles, and many of which were portrayed in too many video games to mention in this video. Perhaps the most famous of them is the AWP or AWM in the Counter-Strike games. You know, I really loved the AWP as long as my team had it, but as soon as the other team got one, God, I hated it. It was so good, and I was so bad with it. I didn't have skills. Various versions of the Mk13 have been used by the US military since about 2001. This is a replica of the Mk13 MOD7 as used by the US Marine Corps, replacing the M40 Sniper Rifle. Like Accuracy International's other designs, the MOD7 embodies their tried and true design principles of accuracy, ergonomics, and a rock-solid chassis. For those that are curious, the real Mk13 MOD7 is chambered in 300 Win Mag. This one, of course, is chambered in 6mm BBs. It's a caliber joke. ASG has done a fantastic job bringing this version, the Mk13 MOD7, into the airsoft world, complete with official trademarks, accurate ergonomics, and everything that's metal on the real thing is metal on this one. And for the most part, all of the portions of the body that your body comes in contact with, like the folding stock, the adjustable cheek riser, the pistol grip, and the lower portion of the front handguard here are high-strength polymer. Everything else is either steel or aluminum. Or as they say across the pond, because it is a British rifle manufacturer, aluminium, because apparently we don't care about spelling. This sniper rifle gets a lot of things right. It's got 14mm negative threads up front, so you can put whatever you want out here, and they've included with a steel replica flash hider in the box, and that's a really nice feature. Actually, on the shorter one, you can see that the inner barrel comes all the way to the front of the flash hider, meaning that for those curious, this is about a 305mm inner barrel, which makes it basically a G-spec. The outer barrel is aluminum, and it's really thick, just like the real thing. It's surrounded by an aluminum key mod handguard with pick rail all the way across the top and even over the main portion of the receiver, giving you plenty of options when it comes to mounting optics and accessories. Included in the box are two attachable rail segments, which we've got on either side of the handguard, and a rail segment with a provision for mounting of a Harris-style bipod, like we've done on our shorter version here. Other features of the Mk13 MOD7 include this wonderful spiral cut fluting on the bolt, as well as a sturdy steel bolt handle. We did notice that the bolt knobs started to unscrew on us, so make sure that you tighten that down. I'd even suggest using something like blue or green Loctite. Something you may find when using any spring-powered sniper rifle is that by supporting the back of the bolt with your thumb, you get a much smoother operation on the bolt. That's especially obvious here, as we noticed that during our testing, we can really get a much smoother bolt pull by supporting the back, again, with our thumb. At the heart of the real Mark 13 is the venerable Remington 700, so the controls will be familiar to most airsofters out there, basically VSR-10 controls. Push the safety forward for fire and backward for safe, and the trigger for shooty shooty bang bang. Again, just like the real thing, the stock folds to one side, making it great for transport. And the hinge on the stock is an absolute monster. It's probably one of the sturdiest folding stocks I've ever felt, which is necessary on a precision rifle platform like the Mark 13. It also has an adjustable cheek riser and removable spacers in the stock pad to give you an adjustable length of pull. A quick note about the construction. The rifle feels incredibly solid. No wobble or creaks anywhere. If you don't know Accuracy International, you might be wary of these pronounced seams between the two halves of the polymer body, but rest assured that's just like it is on the real counterpart. It's a product of how they built their rifles around a solid central chassis and then bolt on the external grabby bits. So I think we can agree that this baby looks fantastic. But how's the performance? As with most things, looks only get you so far. But if you're an airsoft sniper, the real beauty of any rifle is what's on the inside. In the box, you get the rifle and a mag, a spare follower, and every size of hex key you'll need to take this beast apart, which involves removing 11 screws. Talk about rugged. The Mark 13 has a top-down center, or TDC, hop-up adjustment screw, which you can access from the top or bottom. You need to remove the magazine to access it from the bottom, though. The hop-up chamber is quite nice, on par with some aftermarket chambers. One of our gripes is that the bucking is a bit soft, which we'll talk more about in just a moment. Thankfully, it uses a VSR-10 bucking and barrel, so upgrades are easy to find. The nub itself looks fairly unique, but our techs do say it works just fine. Some modification would be necessary to install a different style nub, but it can be done. The cylinder is steel with spiral cut fluting and a pinned bolt handle, which is extra durable. There are some interesting features here, such as the cylinder head being thicker than usual with no rubber pad. While the guide rod is steel, there is no ball bearing. Instead, it has a Delrin spacer, which works just fine, allowing the spring to rotate freely. The piston is CNC'd steel with a 90-degree sear, has a ported and padded face, and has Delrin glide rings. The trigger box has steel parts and feels very similar to a Zero trigger. The brake is clean and crisp. Not necessarily a hair trigger, but very nice. All of these parts add up to one monster of a sniper that's ready for some serious action right out of the box. If you were to upgrade anything, a stiffer spring and a firmer bucking is all you'd need to really push the FPS to get the most out of this sniper. To test the performance of this absolute beast of a sniper rifle, we set our targets at 100, 150, and 200 feet away. As you can see, this hop-up was able to loft a .36 BB all the way downrange. In its stock configuration, 200 feet seems to be kind of at the very edge of this rifle's effective range. Could it go farther? Absolutely. Especially on the longer version, where that increased barrel length really optimizes the volume of the cylinder. Both models would really benefit from a heavier duty or a stronger bucking. The factory one, while adequate, really starts to lose its effectiveness at about .30s. Anything heavier than that, upgrading your bucking is going to go really far in making these shoot really far. Out of the box, the shorter sniper was right at about 390 to 395 FPS with a .2, and the longer one was 408 to 418 FPS in our tests. Pair these snipers with the right BBs and the right hop-up bucking, and the Mark 13 could really send them out there. Upgrades are available, of course, right here on our website. If you're anything like me, one look at the Mark 13 makes me want to be an airsoft sniper like right now. Right now. However, while you're on Evike.com adding this bad boy to your cart, it's important to know that while it's gorgeous, it isn't exactly the lightest rifle on the market. At about 9 pounds, and that's without a scope and bipod, it does mirror the weight of the real thing. But in airsoft, that extra weight might not be exactly something you want. I guess it really depends on what sort of player you are. If you appreciate realistic replicas, then you might enjoy the weight. That weight does make for a very stable shooting platform though. Once you're settled in on the Mark 13, it's an absolute pleasure to shoot. The smooth pull bolts, the comfortable ergonomics, the really crisp trigger with almost no take up, and with 50 rounds in the magazine, you won't have to reload as often, which is a good thing. Which reminds me, we need to talk about how you reload this thing. No, the magazine is not this big thing here, obviously. That would be obvious. Unfortunately, this is just a hollow shell. The real magazine is up here, underneath the handguard. You need to depress this button at the back and then slide the polymer handguard out the front, which reveals the magazine itself. Now this is a VSR-10 compatible system, so it uses VSR-10 magazines. Now besides just trying to hide it underneath, putting it underneath the handguard does present some challenges, like retaining the magazine. It's held in with a spring-loaded plunger at the front. Unfortunately, that means that you can't just easily run the magazine without the handguard, as the handguard performs a key role in retaining the magazine. Once you've got your magazine in place, slide the handguard back in until it clicks, and then you can be sure that it won't fall out on you on the field. There's a lot that's good with the Mark 13 Mod 7, and as with any airsoft replica, you should consider the package as a whole, with realistic ergos and weight, some impressive internals. But the question is it right for you? Well, like I said, that depends on what you want in a sniper rifle. If you want an accurate replica of a modern USMC sniper, then this is probably what you're looking for. It's got the performance and upgradability to be a force multiplier on the battlefield, so long as you don't mind the weight. But for anyone that can appreciate a really well-made product with performance to match, they should definitely give the Mark 13 Mod 7 a serious look. As always, play hard, play safe, play with honor. Thanks for watching. Hooah! Hooah! Hooah!
Okay, hold.
Hooah!